Hello everybody, I'm Joe, and welcome to my review of Grid 2. Grid 2 is the sequel to the critically acclaimed race driver Grid. It launched with not only a lot of hype, but a lot of doubt from die-hard fans. The lack of a cockpit view, production car focus, and the arcadey over-the-top physics meant that more hardcore racing fans, much like myself, were left wondering if they would like it as much as the original. Grid 2 is one of the most story-driven racing games I've ever played. It is one of the best presented racing games I've ever played, and it's one of the prettiest. The career mode has you globe-trotting around with a new racing series called the WSR, or World Series Racing, participating in many different disciplines from drifting in the mountains of Japan to battling through the streets of Paris. All of the environments, tracks and cars look beautiful, and a lot of care and attention has gone into the way the game is presented. The menu system is Codemaster's staple mix of geometric shapes and pseudo-augmented reality. Each race has its own intro video, the sound is phenomenal, and the voice acting is nowhere near as annoying as previous games from the British-based studio. For its presentation, I would give Grid 2 10 out of 10. Although Grid 2 has some very different environments and many different cars, you may find yourself driving around and around the same streets. Codemasters have implemented their new live routes system, whereby in certain events the track will dynamically change as you drive it depending on a number of variables. However, this does not make up for the fact that there are only a handful of environments on each of the 3 continents visited by the game, North America, Europe and Asia, and only a handful of variants of each environment. This means that in a 3-race series you might find yourself drifting past the Arc de Triomphe 15 or so times, and the same ends up being so for the cars. Although the game has around 50 cars from different countries, racing disciplines and styles, after you've chosen your favourite car on each tier, you'll barely use another until the next season. The combination of these two problems means that Grid 2 can get very old very quickly. This means that I'm only going to give Grid 2 5 out of 10 for its game design. Racing games, above all other things, require a solid game engine, and Grid 2 certainly has one. The latest iteration of the Ego engine has a 1000 Hz polling rate, meaning it takes readings from the road, car and player every 1000th of a second. This really shows in the way that the car reacts to the road. Patches of freshly replaced tarmac will cause the car to rock slightly when you drive over them, curbs will make the suspension roll, and for the first time ever in a racing game, when you hit a road sign it doesn't just disintegrate and fly off into the distance, but nor does it simply stand firm, causing the car to wrap around it in the superb slow motion that the Grid 2 replay system provides. It is of course a shame then that the handling models for the cars are so abysmal. The cars are separated into either drift or grip drivetrain styles. In any other racing game, this would mean that the drift cars are fastest in a straight line, the hardest to handle in the corners, and perfect for an aggressive driver who wants to be the first into turn 1 at any cost. In Grid 2, however, drift simply means that you don't have to brake and can carry ridiculous speed through impossibly tight turns without spinning or hitting a wall. Grip cars should be balanced in the corners. They should stick to the road and require immense precision both when hitting the apex and hitting the braking zone. Grid 2, however, seems to have ignored them completely, and either made them just as drifty as the drift cars, or unusable due to endless understeer at any speed above walking pace. This single-minded go fast or go home handling model means that the impressive game engine is useless because all the cars feel the same and are far too easy to handle. Next we get to my main problem with this game, the AI. During the career mode, your race engineer will alert you to the top driver in each race, telling you to watch out for him and that he's the one to beat, and he's not lying. The majority of the AI drivers are terrible. I put the game on the hardest difficulty straight away when starting the career, but the on average 6 AI between you and the pole sitter are a joke, even on very hard. And with no other difficulty settings to tweak, I've never finished a race lower than second. Then, on the other hand, we have this top driver, the pole sitter, the man out in front. He's absurd. After the first corner, without fail, he will gain a 5-second or more lead on the pack and will keep going. Although this is the pace any respectable racing game fan will find themselves driving at on an empty track, trying to overtake the other cars is like trying to drive through a field of 6-year-olds in 4x4s. They are completely unpredictable in braking zones. For some corners they will be going at a snail's pace, and for others they won't brake at all. They're completely blind to you, turning into you and never giving way, and they hit each other all over the track, creating an impenetrable barrier of cars between you and the front man. Once you have managed to claw your way past them, which you must do in the first few corners to have any hope of catching first place, then you have to drive flawlessly right on the edge for the remainder of the race in order to win. The AI really ruined this game for me, and along with the tail-happy handling of every car, it makes the racing a real chore. I'm going to give the technology and engine of Grid 2 a measly 3 out of 10. Grid 2 is a missed opportunity for Codemasters. I loved Race Driver Grid and was looking forward to the sequel, but for me the problems outweigh the stellar presentation, which is why I'm giving Grid 2 a 4 out of 10. Hi everybody, thanks for watching the first review that I've put up on this channel. The microphone was a little bit weird, so I apologise for any strange sounding audio on this video, but hopefully that'll be fixed in my next video. Thanks guys.